Let's go.
Strong signal. Station.
We're rolling. We're gonna go in 7, 6, 5, 4, and 3.
Stop the tape. Stop the tape, please. I'm just messing with you.
Let's go.
Strong signal. Station.
We're rolling. We're gonna go in 7, 6, 5, 4, and 3.
Bringing you on the front line and beyond the headlines.
Outside the wire.
Outside the wire.
These presidential candidates are annoying. We've already been shown that Hillary's act at being all surprised to see an old acquaintance on the campaign trail looks phony. Now we have John McCain doing this thumbs up thing. Unfortunately, he's not the only one. Kudos for Ron Paul for not exposing his thumbs to the public. Last Monday, ESPN First Take hostess Dana Jacobson, fresh off her one-week suspension for saying, among other things, Jesus in a drunken tirade at a roast, came back and apologized to her audience, as well as those who were offended by her remarks.
Guys, thanks. First off, I'd like to welcome back my co-host, Dana Jacobson. Dana, it's very good to see you again. I know you have something you'd like to say.
Yeah, Jay, thank you. Before we do start First Take, there's something that I want to address. There's been a lot of attention surrounding my inappropriate behavior and comments at a roast earlier this month of my friends Mike and Mike. I want to once again say how truly sorry I am for my poor choices and bad judgment that night. I've taken responsibility for what I did say and do and realized why it was wrong. There are no do-overs in life, so all I can do is what we all do when we make mistakes, learn from them. As a person and even a broadcaster, I can tell you I have already learned a lot from mine. Several people told me last week, mistakes do not define us. It's how we respond to those mistakes that does. I believe that. I hope you can forgive me and allow my future to define me. Finally, I want to thank my family, friends, and viewers who have shown me support during this difficult time. Most importantly, ESPN, for its unwavering support and the opportunity to return to this job, the job that I love. Now it is time to get back to that job. To get ESPN First Take started, we send it over to Sage Steele for a SportsCenter update. Sage?
It's amazing to me. You can be dragged through the mud and fired if you insult blacks or Muslims. You can be dragged through the humiliation mud if you insult Jews. But should you insult Christians, you get a slap on the wrist, say you're sorry, and all is forgiven. What a world. If Hitler were still alive and walked through Brattleboro, I think the local police would arrest him for war crimes. According to the Rutland Herald, Brattleboro residents will vote at a town meeting on whether President George Bush and Vice President Dick Cheney should be arrested and indicted for war crimes, perjury or obstruction of justice if they ever step foot in Vermont. Not that I'd ever hope for a natural disaster, because in this case, there are probably some very embarrassed citizens of Brattleboro who have nothing to do with this. But should a natural disaster happen in and around Brattleboro, these people would expect President Bush to drop everything and direct the federal government to immediately assist them in their time of need. But also knowing the loonies as we do, Bush would declare a federal emergency, and when he flew in to do the customary damage survey, the Brattleboro crazies would attempt to perform a citizen arrest. hopefully clothed. Somehow I don't believe the Secret Service would allow this, but that's only me. However, it would be fun to watch the traditional screaming liberal limp body drags off to jail. What is it with the liberal fascination with death? A couple of years ago, a film called Death of a President was met with critical acclaim. It was a documentary-style production with George W. Bush's head digitally composited where needed. For those who found the subject matter tasteless, we were told to lighten up, as it was only a movie. Harry Smith, anchor of CBS's The Early Show, in a Tuesday morning interview with Senator Ted Kennedy, took it to a dark place in reference to a presidential candidate, Barack Obama.
When you see that enthusiasm, though, and when you see this generational change that seems to be taking place before our eyes, does it make you at all fearful?
I'm not alone in the utter dismay of what must be going on in Harry Smith's mind. Not to say that he's alone, but to be an anchor of a national morning show and verbalize it was just plain tasteless. Black people have long said that should they ever live to see a black president get elected, he or she would probably be assassinated. For the most part, that was said in jest because most of us believe we'd never get to see a black president elected.
I think what I was trying to say is sometimes agents of change end up being targets, as you well know.
Yes, we all know what Harry was trying to say, but what I don't understand is how he could be so cold as to insinuate Obama might be in danger and say this to a man who lost 2 brothers to an assassin's bullet. While we know the media loves a good story, and you know what I think liberals internally believe when it comes to black people, do you think there are some in the media that really do want Barack attacked? Not because they want him hurt, but because it would be a great story? Possibly the story of a generation? Think about it. Besides the obvious wall-to-wall coverage that would go on for weeks, imagine all the social subplots they could and would interject. They would go on and on about race, as this would cause a tremendous racial divide in America. Even if the killer were a poor welfare mother, the media would still attempt to link her to some white supremacist and/or even the Republican Party somehow. Barack Obama would be likened to Dr. King, and even though he isn't one, this would give some Muslims around the world just another excuse to riot. So thanks to Harry Smith at CBS, the unthinkable has been thrown out there. Of course, most of us wish no harm on any president, but the growing lack of taste in our media is disturbing, and the closer Obama comes to winning the nomination, the more we'll hear about the left's obsession with death. Sad, but true. In a drunken tirade at a roast, came back, and let me have to reread that. Do you think there are some in the media that really the Brattleboro crazies would attempt to perform a citizen anchor of CBS's The Early Show, in a Tuesday morning interview with Senator Ted Kennedy. Last Monday, ESPN First Take hostess Danny. For the most part, that was said in jest because none of us ever believed we'd actually see. Okay.